You walk into the gym, load the bar to your heaviest working weight for the day, and hit your best set of squats while you're completely fresh. Then, set after set, you strip weight off the bar instead of adding it. That's reverse pyramid training, and it flips the classic bodybuilding template most lifters grew up with: warm up light, work up heavy, on its head. Today, we're breaking down what the research actually says about it. Let's start with what reverse pyramid training actually is. It means doing your heaviest, lowest rep set of an exercise first, while you're completely fresh, then reducing the weight on each following set while allowing a few more reps. It's the mirror image of a traditional ascending pyramid, where you start light and build up to your heaviest weight last. A typical sequence looks like this: a top set of 4 to 6 reps at your heaviest working weight, a second set of 6 to 8 reps at roughly 10% less weight, a third set of 8 to 10 reps at another 10 to 15% reduction. Heaviest first, lighter and higher rep after. Here's the case for doing it this way. Strength output is highest when you're fresh and declines as fatigue builds within a session. In a traditional ascending pyramid, your top set, the one requiring the most strength, happens after you've already accumulated fatigue from several lighter sets before it. In a reverse pyramid, that top set happens first. You're expressing your actual current strength, not a fatigued version of it. Reverse pyramid training also typically requires less total training volume than a full ascending pyramid to hit a comparable stimulus, since you're not spending several sets working up to your heaviest weight. Now here's where it gets more nuanced than the efficiency hack reputation suggests. A controlled study measuring arm and thigh muscle hypertrophy compared a traditional ascending pyramid against a reverse pyramid in fitness club members over several weeks. The result? The traditional ascending pyramid group actually showed better muscle growth in both the arm and thigh measurements. That's a real finding worth taking seriously, though the study used tape measurements rather than more precise imaging, so treat the exact numbers with some caution. Still, it's a genuine signal that reverse pyramid training isn't automatically superior for muscle growth, and might even underperform a traditional ascending approach in some cases. A broader look at pyramid training styles generally finds ascending, descending, and constant load approaches perform similarly for building muscle and strength. The honest takeaway is that reverse pyramid training is a legitimate way to structure a workout, but the evidence doesn't support treating it as a guaranteed upgrade for pure muscle growth. So, if it doesn't reliably build more muscle, why do so many lifters use it? The answer is efficiency and strength expression, not a hypertrophy edge. Hitting your heaviest set first, while fresh, tends to produce better performance and more accurate strength tracking on your most important set of the day. And because you're not spending multiple ramp-up sets working toward your heaviest weight, the whole sequence takes less total time and volume than a full ascending pyramid. For lifters who care primarily about strength progression or who are training under real-time constraints, that trade-off is genuinely useful. It's just not the muscle-building shortcut it sometimes gets marketed as. Let's talk about how to actually set one up. Start with a proper warm-up, several progressively heavier sets that don't take you near failure, so your first working set isn't also your first heavy exposure of the day. Once warmed up, load your top working weight, something you can complete for about 4 to 6 quality reps, and take that set close to failure. For your second set, reduce the weight by roughly 10% and aim for 6 to 8 reps. For a third set, reduce again by another 10 to 15% and aim for 8 to 10 reps. Rest 2 to 4 minutes between sets, since you're still working with genuinely heavy loads throughout, not just on the first set. The best exercises for this are heavy, trackable compound lifts. Back squat, bench press, deadlift, overhead press, and barbell row are the standard choices. These are movements where hitting an accurate top set number actually matters for tracking progress, and where fatigue-driven technical breakdown on a heavy first set is a real concern worth avoiding. Isolation exercises and machines can use the same structure, but the core advantage matters less on movements that were never particularly fatigue-sensitive to begin with. Most reverse pyramid programs use to 2 for working sets per exercise, with 3 being the most common starting point. Going beyond 4 sets starts to work against the format's own logic, since by set 5 or 6, the weight has dropped so much you're basically doing a separate, much lighter block of straight sets. If you want more volume than 3 or 4 reverse pyramid sets provide, it's usually better to add straight sets at a consistent lighter weight afterward rather than continuing to taper the pyramid further down. Who should actually use this? Lifters focused on strength progression on their main lifts, or anyone training under genuine time constraints who wants an efficient session without sacrificing top set performance. It's also reasonable if you've been running traditional pyramids for a long time and want programming variety. Beginners generally don't need to overthink set structure this much. Consistent straight sets with steady weight progression already drives strong results early on, and the specific advantage reverse pyramid training offers matters more once you're closer to your strength ceiling, and every bit of performance counts. One more thing worth knowing. Your rep ranges can shift reverse pyramid training more towards strength or more towards size. For a strength-focused version, keep the top set in the 3 to 5 rep range at a genuinely heavy weight, close to 85 to 90% of your max. Then drop weight more conservatively across sets. For a hypertrophy leaning version, start the top set slightly higher, 6 to 8 reps, and allow a bigger weight drop across sets, so your later sets land in the 10 to 15 rep range where more of the total volume accumulates. Neither version is more correct. The structure adapts reasonably well to either goal. It's also worth thinking about how this fits into your week, not just a single workout. Because the top set is taken close to true failure while fresh, running it on the same lift 2 or 3 times a week is common and well tolerated by most lifters. But pairing that with a lot of other near-failure training on the same muscles can add up to more fatigue than expected, since every reverse pyramid session includes at least one maximally demanding set by design. Tracking your top set numbers week to week is genuinely useful here too. If that number stalls or drops for a couple of sessions in a row, that's a clear signal to back off before it turns into a real plateau. Let's cover the most common mistakes. Skipping a proper warm-up, which is a real injury risk since your first working set is also your heaviest. Dropping the weight too much between sets, which turns your later sets into a completely different, much easier stimulus than intended. Not resting enough between sets, which defeats the purpose since every set stays relatively heavy. And expecting it to outperform traditional training for muscle growth when the research just doesn't support that expectation. Here's the bottom line. Reverse pyramid training is a legitimate, well-reasoned way to structure a workout, not a myth, but it also isn't the muscle-building shortcut its reputation sometimes suggests. A controlled study actually found traditional ascending pyramid training outperformed reverse pyramid for muscle growth, and broader research on pyramid styles generally finds the different structures perform comparably. What reverse pyramid training does offer is real. Your best strength expressed on your most important set, before fatigue can drag it down, with less total training volume required to get there. If strength performance and efficiency on your main lifts matter more to you than chasing a hypertrophy edge the evidence doesn't clearly support, reverse pyramid training is a solid, evidence-aware choice. If this helped you understand reverse pyramid training, the full article has the complete research breakdown with the exact study details, linked right below this video. Subscribe if you want more videos like this every week. No fluff, just what the actual research says.